All right, let's go ahead and test out the RTX 3080. I have the 12 GB version, which in addition to slightly more VRAM than the 10 GB version, also has a few more CUDA cores, a little more memory bandwidth, but it's not a massive performance difference, just a few percent. And as soon as I get away from any potential enemies here, don't kill me while I'm reloading. See, that's a bot, by the way. This has bots. So you see the hostile killed in 1 point? That's not a real player. We're in the invasion game mode, because I think having the largest map possible here makes sense. And hey, I was looking for a excuse to pop over to the graphics settings to show you guys what we're looking at here. So I decided to start out at the Ultra preset at 4K, and I'm not using any DLSS yet. Not using any other type of image scaling. Scroll down to let you guys see that. So basically I clicked the Ultra preset and made sure it was at the native 4K resolution and thought we'd take a look at how we're doing. Right now it's looking like we're hanging in there at right about a little above 60 FPS, which feels fine, although for a competitive shooter, you know, you'd like more. So it's obviously going to make sense to use DLSS and or turn down some settings. And we'll probably test out some 1440p here as well before we go. That's an enemy. Well, a bot type enemy. Is that it? Yeah, that was... Okay, I guess I'm good at slaughtering bots. Are there going to be any actual enemies to fight here at some point? Maybe. Is that one? No? Not sure how I feel about bots being in here, to be honest. I don't know if this is a typical Call of Duty thing, or if this is new. I'm not really much of a Call of Duty player. I generally play the open beta for free each year. That's about it. All right, so I think we've got the performance locked in there. Basically, it looks like you can max the game out at 4K native resolution and be hovering a little above 60 FPS. Let's go ahead and try kicking on DLSS quality and seeing where that gets us. I think in a competitive game, it's absolutely acceptable. DLSS quality at 4K looks very close to the native resolution. And we're now up in the 90-something FPS range, which feels quite good. I can definitely feel the upgrade from 60 FPS. So really, I don't think we're gonna... I mean, I will test some more settings, but I think in general, it's looking like, honestly, just max the thing out at DLSS quality, and you've got yourself at least a pretty good experience. Are there any actual enemies? Can I, like, fight somebody who's not a bot? There's one. There's one. So you can tell you get the 5 points and it actually says like the player name and it says player killed, so you can definitely tell when it's a bot. I'm out of ammo. That seems to be a problem. I'm gonna get killed here. That's a teammate. I'm gonna sneak up on this guy. Oh no. Oh no. Didn't work. All right, let's go ahead and kick the DLSS even more aggressive. Let's drop down to the balanced mode, which usually still looks quite good in most games. And the FPS is now pushing up a little bit over 100. Another player killed. Look at me go. Look at me, Mom. I'm a Call of Duty player. Are you proud of me? I got sniped. I saw that little scope thing. All right, let's go ahead and move a little quicker through the DLSS here. Let's go to performance, which is usually the most aggressive you want to go. I wouldn't usually use this in a, you know, beautiful single player game where I'm trying to make it look as good as possible, because I can generally see a little blurriness, a little detail loss, especially in motion, but for a competitive shooter type situation, I think the performance gain is more than worth going a little more aggressive on things with the upscaling. All right, whenever I die or feel safe for a second, I'll adjust my settings here a bit. Yeah, we're now hanging out around the 120 FPS mark, which is, you know, I'm on a 120 FPS LG C1 OLED, so for me that's good enough, but a lot of people might be going for more. Let's try out the UltraPerformance upscaling. Again, in a single player game, I would not go this aggressive. You definitely start to see the upscale. But performance looking quite good at 4K. All right, let's go ahead and try out what if we played at the balance settings but with DLSS turned off. By the way, if it's not letting you turn on DLSS, I noticed that if you have CAS on, DLSS gets grayed out. So just, if you're like, why is DLSS grayed out? Turn off the contrast adaptive sharpening, and it will allow you to enable DLSS. So remember, when we were on the native ultra settings, we were around the mid 60 FPS range most of the time. It's looking like we are now definitely doing better than that at the balanced setting. That was a real player. I thought that was a bot. That's a real player as well. Interesting. Let's go upstairs. Do I have a grenade or something? Ah, I threw it inside. I closed the door. I thought F was grenade. F was not grenade. Or F was grenade? I don't even know, man. I pushed the wrong buttons, what I'm trying to say. Oof. All right, let's go ahead and try out going down to the basic settings at 4K. All right. We're in the mid 70s again, so it's certainly looking like the upscaling with DLSS is the best way to gain performance, although I will certainly try out combining the two. Because we got a much more, like we were getting higher FPS at ultra settings with DLSS quality than we're getting here, going all the way down a couple notches on the actual graphics settings. So let me go ahead and adjust this thing again. If we go all the way down to minimum, it's not even at the actual full render resolution. So let's go ahead, go back to the basic settings, and then we're gonna kick on DLSS to the performance setting. Or should we actually go to ultra performance? Let's do that. So let's see if we lower settings and kick on DLSS, just how high of an FPS experience we can get. Look at my mini-map right now. Is that bugged out? Like, is that a game thing? Like somebody's using an item on me? Or is that a glitch? I honestly don't know Call of Duty well enough. Ooh, wow, we just got mowed down. How embarrassing. Ouch. Yeah, so it's looking like at 4K, that's about what we can do. And I think that it's about time to try out some 1440p. All right, went ahead and started up another round so we can test out 1440p a little bit. So currently we're at the 1440p ultra settings, although let's actually double check that, make sure I got everything ultra. DLSS is off, so we are currently at the native Ultra preset at 1440p. Let's roll with it. So we're already over 100 FPS at Ultra native settings, so that's good, I guess. Let's find some bad guys. Oh, well, we found them, or at least they found me. All right. I mean, performance seems good. Again, seems pretty much just hangs out a bit above 100 FPS. I'm curious how far we could push it if we kick on some DLSS here. So if we go into the DLSS, kick it onto quality, apply settings. All right, we're now over 140 FPS, which is nice. Hey, got him. I had seen an enemy there. Got him, although that's a fake enemy. What is battle rage? I'm gonna push X. What is that? What does that even do? I'm getting shot. It does not hide me from snipers. Getting grenaded. Got him. Fake enemy again. Got him. Got him. Fake one. Ah! That guy should have had me. That was pretty funny. All right, let's go ahead and try kicking the DLSS all the way down to the performance mode at 1440p ultra settings. And it's looking like we might be actually starting to get into a CPU limit, because you can see that my GPU usage is in the 80% range. Which means that it's probably being limited by my CPU. Now, you might look at my CPU and notice that it's not anywhere near 100%, but that's because this is a 16-core, 32-thread CPU. So your game can still be limited by your CPU, even if your CPU is not being 100% used. Because as long as a single thread of the CPU is limiting the game from being able to produce another frame, it becomes a CPU limit, despite the CPU usage not being at 100%. So really you look at the GPU usage to figure out if you are CPU limited, because your GPU will be 100% utilized if your CPU can feed it. And some of you will be like, well, RAM matters too and stuff. I kind of factor the RAM in with the CPU. Like they're working together. Okay. Did I mention, if I didn't yet, I have an R9 5950X CPU with a 32 gigabytes of 3600 CL16 memory. There we go. It's in the middle of fighting. It's hard to remember my PC specs. All right, what should we do here? Should we try out 1080p just for fun? Let's go ahead and drop the display down to 1080p. Way down here. 1080p, there it is. And we will be at the Ultra preset, but I don't think we need DLSS, at least at first. All right, 1080p Ultra settings on an RTX 3080. I know you people are out there. You buy your 3080 for 1080p competitive gaming, and you want the highest of frame rates at the lowest of resolutions. I mean, 1080p is fine, I guess, but if you got a 3080, I think you should be on 1440p personally, at least. All right. Now, again, due to CPU limitations, I don't think we can get our frame rate much higher here. I think the GPU is pretty much being pushed as hard as it can. But we'll go ahead and kick on DLSS quality and just see if we can push it any harder. It's really looking like this is about the limits of the CPU in this situation. All right, well there it is. Looks like the 3080 does well here. It seems like the most effective way to gain frame rate is upscaling rather than adjusting the settings. It did not seem like the settings did a whole lot performance-wise. They helped a little bit, but kicking on DLSS seems to do a lot more than you know, turning down to the lower settings. Should I finish out the round, guys? Well, there's a lot of round left. I'll probably finish out the round, but I will spare you guys from having to watch my Call of Duty gameplay. I can play shooters, but I don't know Call of Duty. And I hope all of you have an excellent day.